Our first guest says that work-life balance isn't just about time management and figuring out how we can cram more into our day. So we're here to share more, including actionable steps we can take to improve that balance. We welcome mental health therapist and business coach Jennifer Gray.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is a great time to talk about this, as it's becoming a very busy time of year for so many people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just had Halloween yesterday,
Yes.
so we're revving up for all of the holidays, and that tends to be a really busy, stressful time for everyone. So managing that work-life balance is important.
So let's talk about the concept of, a lot of us just instantly think about the time management aspect of it, but we can kind of shift our mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So that traditional view of work-life balance tends to be dividing yourself equally among your roles, cramming more into your day, being really time productive. And I'm asking people to think about a more sustainable message, which is more about thinking, noticing your time and your energy, as well as having emotional boundaries and building resiliency so that inevitably when that stress and change happens, you can deal with it in a way that's not so overwhelming.
Right. We can't completely eliminate stress and challenges from our lives, but we can handle them with better tools and resources.
Exactly.
And we should acknowledge, too, some of the things that contribute to those hard times, like societal pressures of we feel like we have to do it all.
Yes, yeah. From when we're little to when we're growing up as an adult, we get all types of messages about what success is supposed to look like outside and internally. And a lot of the times that message that we get from, like you said, family, friends, our work, community members is about, how do we be more productive, do more, show up in these ways. And oftentimes that leads to a lot of unattainable expectations.
Yeah.
And the more we try to fill unattainable expectations, the more we end up burning ourselves out.
Yes.
And burnout is not just that physical sluggishness. It also impacts our brain. And so when we're trying to balance work and life, it can be really hard to have communication, to even be able to make decisions that feel really productive and well thought out. It can be absolutely crushing for people.
And then when you're stuck in that cycle of feeling like you're failing because you can't live up to all these expectations that you've set for yourself internally too, it affects your family dynamics, your own mental health. It just touches every part of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, you end up being more irritable with the people around you. You kind of want to avoid a lot of things. And then you end up feeling more anxious, more depressed, even more self-critical, which only kind of makes that cycle a lot worse.
That's so true. Okay, so you have some advice for us, some positive steps that we can take, beginning with that time piece of it, thinking instead about managing our energy, not just our time.
Exactly. So time and energy, right? Let's pay attention to when we have a lot more energy throughout the day, throughout the week, even throughout the month, and when we tend to have less of it. That way we can actually show up in ways that feel good for ourselves. When we have that higher energy, we can work a lot more focused on deeper projects. But if we're low energy, it's going to be really hard to do that, and that's the time in honoring that that balance in your energy. How can you ask for support or get support in a different way instead of trying to show up to 100 when really you're only at 60?
And it will probably help you to figure out which things are a real suck on your energy that take so much of you, and then you can say, hey, you know what, I could really use some help with XYZ.
Exactly, yeah. Or maybe even giving yourself permission to say, oh, you know what, that's actually not going to be right for me, or I'm not going to be able to accept that engagement, and maybe somebody else can support you in it. So really understanding, how your energy is meeting, and if it's going to also align with your values, what feels right for you. If we're doing things that don't feel good, that's also going to drain our energy in ways that we might not recognize.
Which leads right into the next tip about emotional boundaries, not being afraid to say, hey, you know what, I need to take a break for this specific topic.
Exactly. Whether that's at work, with school, I mean, certainly there are going to be some obligations we can't say no to, but are there ways we can get support around that obligation, that responsibility, so that, again, we don't get in a trap of feeling like we're not showing up the way we want to.
And then what about developing resistance? Are there some muscles we can exercise?
Yeah, resiliency, I would say, actually. Resistance to that stress. That way you can build up a sense of protection against that stressful time. And something that I think is really lovely, similar to a gratitude list, is a daily wins list, writing 3 things down, whether small or big, that you can kind of expand your brain to say, hey, it's not just an unfinished task list I have to look at. There's also these ways I'm showing up for myself, for the people I love, that I am accomplishing things. And so we're just expanding our mindset. We're not saying we're only going to focus on the unfinished stuff or the completed stuff, just giving ourselves this, an opportunity to say, hey, there's more to this story here than us just not fulfilling a role.
That's so true. We always tend to focus on the negative. It's more memorable. It sticks out in our brain. But I imagine you work with people all the time. When you get that wins list day to day, they go, oh my gosh, I really accomplished so much.
Yes, and that wins list, if you're doing it daily, is going to really build up over time. And the more you do it, oftentimes I find people writing much longer lists each day because they're like, wait, what about this? Wait, what about that? And so they're able to, expand their brain to see that there are other ways that they are feeling accomplished, they're feeling adequate, and not just, again, that unfinished list.
That's so encouraging. Are there common things that you find with folks that they're able to kind of maybe downgrade as a lower level priority of something that, hey, I could probably take that off my plate at least for this time in my life, and then maybe when I'm feeling like I have the bandwidth for it, I'll assess it again?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Sometimes, just looking at your schedule and saying, maybe I don't have the time, and I know based on my energy tracking, I'm not going to have that capacity.
Yeah.
And so offering to maybe reschedule it to a different time if that's possible, or even seeing if you can get, again, that supportiveness. Maybe you can approach whatever it is with a team aspect, with a friend or a partner, or someone that's going to help you kind of bring in a little bit more energy when you might not have it.
We can accomplish so many things when we have the help and support that we need to.
That's exactly right.
Thank you so much. It was great chatting with you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Of course. Okay, we'll have more about Jennifer on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.